Section 4 is the changing world of sexual harassment claims. Several years ago, it really came to national attention of the very prominent and well-known people who had engaged in sexual harassment, either currently or in the past of their careers. It really got kicked off when Harvey Weinstein was investigated and accused of a pattern of sexual harassment towards people that he worked with. It was noticeable in the CHRO's claims also that we were now experiencing more reporting. I would never say more sexual harassment because it's a discrimination class that I think is very underreported. But the public nature of what happened and the public attention to it certainly brought more claims to the agency. And things like hashtag #MeToo and hashtag Time's Up became very familiar and very known to everybody that reporting sexual harassment is not something that people should be embarrassed about, and that it was important that people complained about it, reported it, so that they could not only help themselves, but help others who didn't feel empowered to report. So this slide really details some of the more popular people who were accused of sexually harassing people within their line of work and in their orbit. And quotes such as, "For nurses, sexual harassment is something that they expect. It's par for the course from their patients. 94% of women surveyed experienced some sexual harassment or assault." 94%. That is a massive amount of women. And I don't want to exclude men, but that is a massive amount of women who have been sexually harassed in the course of just doing their work.
Unfortunately, though, there's a backlash from the hashtag #MeToo movement. And the backlash is still affecting women negatively. So from this 2019 study by Professor Leanna Atwater at the University of Houston, here were her findings. 19% of men said they were now reluctant to hire an attractive woman. 21% of men said they were reluctant to hire women for jobs involving close interpersonal interactions with men. 27% of men said they now avoid one-on-one meetings with female colleagues. This was not the intent of the hashtag #MeToo movement. The hashtag #MeToo movement was a movement that was established to say, me too. I am saying me too. I was sexually harassed as well. And we have to put a stop to me too. There should not be another woman or man in a workplace that can say, me too, I was sexually harassed. Fear of sexual harassment complaints may be leading to more sex discrimination, which is really unfortunate.
We've talked a lot about more overt types of sexual harassment, things where people have been touched or pictures have been circulated, environments where it's more obvious that that type of behavior may be considered sexual harassment. But there's also behavior called microaggressions that is harassing. So the definition is a common or action that subtly or often unconsciously or unintentionally expresses a prejudiced attitude toward a member of a marginalized group. So this is comments that are made that are meant to be complimentary, but really are just putting the person down, such as assuming that a woman who has children has to leave early to have childcare responsibilities, or in the opposite, that men don't have any childcare responsibilities, making jokes that are just meant to all be in good fun, but that are actually negative or harassing to those who hear that. Or things like requiring women to take notes at meetings where everyone is a peer or a colleague of each other, or asking them to bring cake or make cookies for somebody's birthday. Things that are directed at one gender because it's believed that that's the specific role of that gender.
Workplace bullying can be discrimination. It can be illegal discrimination if it is based on the individual's protected class. So if you are bullying someone because of their gender, because they're a woman or because they're a man, that can be illegal discrimination. You have to ask yourself first, does it violate your work policies? Most workplaces have an employee handbook. In that employee handbook are the workplace policies that are in place. And as an employer, you should evaluate your employee handbook and determine whether or not you want to include in that handbook that it is a violation of your workplace policies for individuals to engage in bullying based on a protected class. Does it violate contracts that you already have in place? This again is an assessment that needs to be done by the employer. So there are instances when workplace bullying is illegal discrimination because it's based on membership in a protected class. And there are instances where workplace bullying is not illegal discrimination because it's not based on someone's membership in a protected class. It's not based on their sex, it's not based on their race, their color, their national origin, the fact that they have a disability. Those are protected classes.
Gender identity. When we talk about gender identity, we mean a specific protection in the statute, and there are definitions within our statute that identify what one means by gender identity. One of the most important things that comes up when we are looking at employees who have a gender identity that may be different than their birth gender is what restrooms are used. It's important to know that the restroom used is the restroom for which the person identifies, so that if they were biologically born a female but identify as a male, then the restroom that they would use is the male restroom. It's important that employees are made safe and are able to have their dignity when they're using their restrooms. You also need to make sure that the employee has the choice, so that if there is a non-gender specific bathroom, and there are gender specific bathrooms, that the employee gets to choose which bathroom they want to use, which is consistent with their gender identity. To make clear, it is the employee's choice, not the employer.
There are instances in employment where protected class status may clash with one another. For example, you may have employees who have religious objections to specific protected classes. You, as the employer, have the right to determine what your workplace rules and workplace policies are going to be. All employees have the right to work in an environment that is filled with respect. People don't have to agree or believe in the same thing. They need to nonetheless treat each other respectfully. An employer can require professional conduct at all times, and that's where the employee handbook is so crucial to effective management of your business, organization, or operation.
Sexual harassment isn't limited to male and female sexual harassment. It includes male to male sexual harassment and female to female sexual harassment. One of the larger emotional distress awards occurred in a case called Patino versus Birkin Manufacturing. In that case, the employee, who was male, was harassed by other employees who were also male because of his sexual orientation. Mr. Patino testified on his own behalf. He did not have a doctor or other sorts of professionals testify as to his emotional distress damages. He was awarded $94,500, and the court characterized that damage award as garden variety. And the takeaway from that is that for employers, it's important to note that an employee who has been harassed can be awarded significant emotional distress damages because of that harassment. And so that it's extremely important that employees quickly respond when they are made aware or they witness themselves sexual harassment and or all other types of discrimination. Please pause the video and take quiz number 4 in the material section.
Quiz number 4, question 1. Sexual harassment must involve people of different genders. What did you choose?
Cheryl, I believe that the answer to that is B, false.
You are correct, Michelle.
Thank you.
Question number 2. Workplace harassment against LGBTQ individuals is not illegal as long as it is based on a religious belief. This is a more difficult question because when individuals have their religious beliefs, they feel sometimes emboldened in their position that they can have that belief and then they can act on that belief in the workplace.
Well, that is a very difficult subject, and no one is saying that an employee should not continue to follow their religion and believe their beliefs. They are in a work environment, and they are not able to change or criticize or judge other people in their environment who don't engage in their similar beliefs. So the answer to that question is B.
B again. Correct.
Thank you.